Hey there, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to 1949. We got the Indians and the Tigers here, and let's see what we have. 7-3 is the record for Cleveland, and 5-7 is the record for the hopeless Detroit Tigers, who are really not a good team. And that's a ball in there to Lou Boudreau, who I'm starting here in the leadoff spot for Cleveland, and we'll have Virgil Trucks pitch again, and Boudreau hits one over to left field. Evers has it. Hootie Evers has it for the out. There's one away, and here's Larry Doby, who pulls one down the line, the right field line. That one's just foul. 0-1 the count on Doby. Now it's 1-1. Indians are playing around with the idea of being in first place. There's a fly ball hit to Wirtz in right field, who catches it for the out, two-way, and here's Hal Peck. Indians are up there with the Yankees now, as the Yankees beat the Red Sox. You saw that one the other day. 2-0 the count now on Peck, and there's one hit over to Groth in center field. Makes the play for the out, and that does it. We go to the bottom of the first, and here's George Kell. And so Cleveland has been sort of flirting around with the idea of being in first place, but they need to get a winning streak here, and there's an 0-2 count quickly on Kell. Playing against Detroit might help out. 1-2 now the count on Kell, and there's another one upstairs, 2-2, and one misses outside, full count now on him, and strike three by Bob Lemon gets him, and so there's one away. Here is Johnny Groth, and he takes the ball off the plate. 1-0 the count on him, and there's a swing and a miss and a strike. 1-1 now on Johnny. That's a slider upstairs. 2-1 is the count on Groth. That's low, and it's a 3-1 pitch, and there's a strike, and there's a full count now on him, and then Lemon gives up the walk. So strike out and a walk, both on full counts here to start off this game. Not the way the Lemon wants to start it off. Big Wirtz now hits a little dropping line drive, I guess that was, a little looper out above second base for a base hit. The question here is, do we send Johnny Groth to third? I'm actually going to play a little bit safe here. I've been doing that a little bit more lately. With Hootie Evers coming up, we might as well play it safe because he can really get a hold of when you want to have a bunch of guys on base. Count on Hoot now is 2-0. 3-0, Lemon all over the place here. We'll take this pitch, and there's ball four, and Lemon has walked the bases just like that. Well, the Indians are not going to get the first place. They're not going to be competitive if they're playing like this. Here's Aaron Robinson now. And there's almost a wild pitch. Hegan just able to stay in front of that with those excellent defensive ratings. There's another pitch inside that misses, 2-0 the count on Robinson. Breaking ball outside, and Robinson's going to take this pitch. And there's one low and outside. Lemon with 3 walks in this inning. Only one hit for the Tigers, 1-0 game. And here's Paul Campbell with a chance to really blow this one open. There's a ball to him, 1-0 the count. And there's a little one tap to the right side, and Campbell is in there for the base hit. Everybody advances a base, 2-0 now Tigers, and here comes Johnny Lipon. Lipon, not exactly a great hitter, hitting 186, 1-1 the count now on Johnny. That's inside, 1-2 now. There's a sinker outside, 2-2 is the count. And that one is just high, full count once again. Lemon having a hard time. He fouls that one off. And there's one into left field, and that will score Hoot Evers and sends Aaron Robinson over to third base. So 3-0 Tigers here, bottom of the first inning. I was just saying the Indians should be happy they're playing against Detroit, and look at what happened. 1-1 the count on Neil Berry. Now it's 2-1. 2-2 now the count on him. Lemon in real life had a 22 victories. There's a fly ball over to Peck in right field, and he makes the catch for the out. We go to the top of the second. Here's Dale Mitchell, and he takes the ball. Lemon with 22 victories in real life, not playing so well in this replay. 1-2 the count now on Mitchell. Top of the second inning, 2-2 now. Mitchell takes one. And there's one below the knees, full count on him. And Virgil Trucks ends up walking him. Trucks so far in this replay is 0-2. Pitching okay, but those bases on balls will get you every time. Here is Joe Gordon, and it's a 1-1 count now on Gordon. And they're trying for some shenanigans with Mitchell, and we'll try to throw over a couple of times to let them know that we see him. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and there's strike 2. 2-2 now the count. That one's inside, full count now on Gordon. And there's another walk, 2 walks in a row by Virgil Trucks, and here comes Mickey Vernon. And there's a little ground ball over to Barry, goes to second for 1, and then throws over to first, and it's just too late. Campbell had to go off the bag to grab that one. And there's one out here, runners on first and third for Jim Hegan. No hits yet for the Indians. And there's a ball to Hegan. And we are going to throw to second base. And we cannot get Vernon, who steals the base. And so that means that if runners on second and third here with the one out, we're going to go ahead and pitch to Jim Hegan instead of walking him. And there's a 3-1 count on him. We might be walking him anyway. It was a full count. And Hegan almost strikes out there, just not able to grab a hold of that one. And then he strikes out on the next pitch. There's 2 away, and here's Bob Kennedy, and this is going to be one of those games for the bullpen. You can feel it. 0-1 the count on Kennedy, and he hits one over to right field, and that one goes all the way to the wall, and there's a double for Kennedy, scores 2, and it's 3-2 Detroit, just like that. And here comes Bob Lemon. Never know what's going to happen, and you don't want to give up on these games early. 2-1 the count on Lemon. He takes inside for a ball. 3-1 the count. There's strike 2, full count, and Lemon gets the base hit, and that makes it a 3-3 ball game here in the early going. And here comes Lou Boudreau, and Virgil Trucks is really having a hard time. 2-0 now the count on Boudreau, and there's a strike to him. 2-1 now. There's a little pop-up over to Neil Berry. He catches that one over at second base. We go to the bottom of the second, and Trucks will lead it off. He hits a little grounder up to Boudreau, who throws him out at first. 1 away. Here's George Kell. Takes a ball. And another one outside. 2-0 now the count. And there's a little ground ball over to first base. Kell does it himself for the out. 2 away. And here comes Johnny Groth, who takes a ball. And there's another ball. 2-0 the count now on him. And a strike. 2-1 now. And one's fouled off. 2-2 now. And there's a ball low. Full count on Groth. And he lays off of that one. That's walk number 4 given up by Lemon. That brings up Vic Wertz. Vic Wertz takes a strike and hits one down the line in right field and just foul. And there's a little bit of argument here on the part of the announcer. And as I've said before, that does happen from time to time here in Diamond Mine Baseball, especially if you're using the newest version of the Jack Wood commentary. And every time you see that happen, of course, it's always interesting to look at the controversy that comes up from time to time. Fortunately, it's not something that comes up on every play. Earlier versions of Diamond Mine did have a little bit too much of it. Too many guys who looked like they were getting hit by pitches when they weren't and stuff like that. 1-2 now as Vic Wertz takes one inside, and he swings and misses and strikes out, and we go to the top of the third. 3-3 ball game still. Larry Doby up there takes one low and then one outside. 2-0 the count on Doby. And there's a strike in there. His Trucks goes back in there, and there's one fouled away over to Robinson, the catcher, and there's one out, and here's Hal Peck. And that's outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. And there's a strike. 1-1 now. And that's popped up over to Lipon, the shortstop, makes the catch for the out. 2 away, and here's Dale Mitchell. He takes the ball, and a strike. 1-1 the count now on Mitchell, and he pops one up, and it's Kell who grabs the one, the third baseman, for the out. We go to the bottom of the third inning. And here's Hoot Evers, and there's a strike to him real quickly off, and another one that's low inside but called a strike. 0-2 the count on Hoot. 1-2 now on Evers, and fouls one off. That's out of play, though. Still 1-2. There's one wide. 2-2 now the count. And there's a curveball that goes wide, full count, and that one's up high. And Lemon has walked 5 in this game, and so he's really all over the place. Aaron Robinson now takes a ball, and there's a foul ball. 1-1 the count on him. And lifts another one foul. 1-2 now the count. And there's another foul ball. Another foul ball, and this is one of those Diamond Mine Baseball specialties. There's one that misses. 2-2 now the count. There's a slider too low, and it's a full count again for Bob Lemon. Curveball low, and Lemon walks him, and he's walked 6 in this ball game now. We're only in the bottom of the third inning. Here's Paul Campbell, and the Tigers have a chance to really blow this game open here. Campbell takes a strike and looks at a slider low. 1-1 the count on him. That's hit to right center field, and Evers is able to go to third base on that. And my dog's getting happy because somebody's walking their dogs right out in front of us. Here's Johnny Lipon now, and he fouls one back for a strike. 0-1. That's a ball low. 1-1. We got runners on first and third. 2-1 now the count on Johnny, bottom of the third inning. And there's a little ground ball over to second base, and they get the double play, and that will strand a runner at third base, and we go to the top of the fourth. Joe Gordon up there. If you haven't been watching my videos, you might not know this, but there's a little ground ball to Barry at second base, makes the play over to first for the out. Problem with his 1949 season, there are too many double plays. Far too many. There's Mickey Vernon, fouls one back for a strike, and there's a ball. 1-1 the count, and that's outside. 2-1 now. And there's another foul ball. 2-2. There's a ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit for Vernon, and that brings up Jim Hegan. Hegan takes a strike to start it off, and there's a swing and a miss on a slider, and it's 0-2. There's a little ground ball too slow for a double play over to Barry at second base, who throws to Campbell for the out. 2 away, and here's Bob Kennedy. And there is a foul ball. 0-1 the count. There's another ground ball to Barry. He makes the play to first base for the out. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Here comes Neil Barry, and he fouls one off. Takes one low. 1-1 the count. And there's one high. 2-1 now. And it fouls one off over there. Kennedy reaching for it, diving for it, just can't get it. Still 2-2 now the count. There's a ground ball to Gordon, throws to first base for the out, one away. There's Virgil Trucks, and he swings and misses on that curveball and takes one outside, 1-1 the count. There's a slider for a strike, 1-2, and there's one that hangs, 2-2, too high with that. Fouls the pitch off. And there's a breaking ball, and Trucks can't even come close to getting that one. That's a strikeout, strike 3. Bob Lemon with his third strikeout of the game against 6 walks. George Kell takes the ball. Fouls one back, 1-1 now the count. And there's a little fly ball over to Peck in right field, and we go to the top of the fifth, still 3-3. Bob Lemon comes up there now against Virgil Trucks. And it's 1-1 is the count on him. Now 1-2 as Trucks gets ahead of this one, and Lemon hits that one to left center field for a base hit, and he's on first base. And here comes Lou Boudreau, and the Indians might have a chance. Boudreau ends up bunting, and Boudreau ends up beating the fielder here on this. So there was a one-handed pickup by Campbell, who decides to tag him instead of going to tag the base. Boudreau eludes the tag and gets on base, and that is the potential for being a really big play here early in this game. I say it's early. We're in the top of the fifth inning. That might be one that gives the Indians the chance to really blow this game open. We'll see what happens here, but we will keep an eye on that one. And that's one of the reasons why we want Boudreau hitting up high in the order, because he's been hitting like that here all season long so far. Runners in first and second, no outs for Larry Doby. And he fouls one out, but just out of play. 0-1 the count on him. Now it's 1-1. And there's one high and inside, 2-1 now the count on Doby. And 3-1 as Trucks keeps missing. And there's one foul back, full count on him now, and that's off the play with the slider. And Trucks has loaded the bases. He loaded the bases with Hal Peck coming up here. And just as I said, I mean, these defensive mistakes can be very, very costly, and we'll see what happens here. But there is a chance that the Indians will really be able to capitalize off of this one and wind up scoring quite a few runs. 3-3 ball game, top of the fifth inning. And here's Hal Peck with nobody out, and he fouls one off, 0-1 the count on him. And there's a strike, 0-2 on Peck, and there's a ball to him, 1-2 now the count. And that one's high, 2-2 is the count. And there's a ground ball over to Kell. He throws over to the plate for one out. Can't complete that double play, though, and so the bases are still loaded this time for Dale Mitchell. Dale Mitchell, not exactly hitting wonderfully so far this season, hitting 263 is the batting average that he's at, but with power, and that's the thing you worry about here in this situation. There's no place to put him, and so you got to pitch to him, and we'll see. We'll see if the Tigers can get out of this one or not. I have a feeling that this might not end so well, and Mitchell takes a ball low and away, 1-0 the count, and there's a foul ball just out of play, 1-1 now. And that's hit over to Groth in center field. Lou Boudreau ends up scoring on the sacrifice fly. That makes the score 4-3 Indians, and we'll see if that winds up being it, or if we have more scoring to go through in this ball game. Not exactly what you wanted Mitchell to do, but at least it was something, and you got at least one run in from this this opportunity that Cleveland has had. But one of the questions you got to ask, of course, is this characteristic of a pennant-winning team? Joe Gordon up there now takes one high, 1-0 the count. And there's one in there for a strike, 1-1 now in Gordon. And there's one on the inside corner, 1-2. And there's a little fly ball over to Wirtz in right field, and that does it. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Here's Johnny Groth, 4-3 Indians. And Groth takes a strike and a ball, 1-1 now the count on Groth. There's one outside, 2-1 now. And there's a strike inside, 2-2. That's off the plate for a ball, full count now on him. And there's one clothesline down to the right field corner, and that's going to be a triple for Johnny Groth. And this is the reason why you ask yourself, will that one run be enough? And it looks like it won't be enough the way they've been swinging the bats today. I'm a little bit surprised that Bob Lemon has stayed in there. He has not pitched well at all. 3-0 so far in the season for Lemon, but this has definitely not been his game. And we'll see what happens. We're still early in this one. A lot of things could happen. Vic Wirtz is up there now, the big power hitter, hitting .345 this season. Takes the ball low, 1-0 the count. 1-for-2 on the day for Wirtz as he takes another ball, 2-0. And there's a breaking ball in there for a strike, 2-1 the count. And that's outside, full count. We'll take this pitch. And that is one that's just on the black, low and inside for a strike, full count now. And that is hit over to left field for an out. Mitchell grabs it. That's deep enough to score the run as the sacrifice flies. So Wirtz does his job, sort of. You kind of wish he had that one a little bit deeper, but we'll take it. 4-4 ball game now, and it's a brand new ball game once again here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And coming up next is going to be Hoot Evers, and let's see what Hoot can do for us, huh? Hoot Evers comes up there and takes a strike. 0-1 the count on him. And there's a ground ball between first and second for a base hit, and that brings up Aaron Robinson now with 1 out. And Aaron Robinson gets into one deep to right field, and that one is out of here, baby. Home run for Robinson. That is his first home run of the season. And just like that, the score is 6-4. Robinson now with the home run, 3 RBIs today, the 2 walks, 1 for 1 on the day. And that might be it. That might be enough. We'll see. And it really has not been Bob Lemon's day. As I was saying, I'm a little bit surprised that they're still going with him. I mean, he's hit 100 pitches now, and I mean, this is just not characteristic of him, the sort of day he's had, or sort of season he had in real life. Paul Campbell now takes the ball, and that swung on a belted back deep to left field. There's a double for Campbell. I was about to say it's got to be it for Lemon, but now they're going to stick with him. So Johnny Lipon comes up there with a runner on second base, takes a strike. 0-1 the count, and there's a breaking ball high, 1-1 now, and that's off the plate, 2-1. And that one misses in the dirt. 3-1. We're going to take this pitch. And Lipon takes ball 4. Had the take sign. Brings up Neil Berry. And instead of bunting, we're going to take. Let's see what happens. There's a curveball off the plate for a ball. 1-0. There's a strike right down the middle. 1-1 now the count. And that's off the dirt. 2-1. There's one that's hit over to right center field. And that's going to be a quiet out. That brings up Virgil Trucks now with 2 outs. That's inside on Trucks. 1-0 the count on him. And that's off the plate. But he swung anyway. 1-1 now. And 1-2 with a big breaking ball. It looks like a wiffle ball pitch. Still 1-2, and that's inside 2-2. And there's a foul ball, and another one fouled off there. Still 2-2. That swung on a miss. Truck strikes out once again. We go to the top of the 6. 6-4 though now Tigers, as they've not only come back, but they've pulled out ahead. 0-1 now the count on Vernon. That's high. 1-1 the count on him. That one's hit deep to right field. Vic Wirtz runs back, makes an over-the-shoulder catch on that one for the out, 1 away. And up is Jim Hegan, who takes a strike. And there's one lined into left field for a base hit. So runner at first base for Cleveland, down 6-4 in this one, top of the 6. And Kennedy winds up hitting one over the head of Evers into left field for a double, which sends Hegan over to third base. And so just like that, there's runners at second and third with 1 out here, and Bob Lemon's coming up to bat. And the question is, do you pinch hit for Lemon in this situation? Do you leave him in there? I would pinch hit for Lemon. Personally, there's no way I would leave him in there, not the way he's been pitching. I mean, you'd be better with just about anybody than Bob Lemon in this one, but they're going to let him hit. And there's a slider low. And there's a little foul ball. Campbell just can't quite get to it. And there's a little ground ball over to short. Hegan ends up going down to the plate, and we are going to throw home. We'll see if we can cut off the run. And nope, the throw is too late, and that ends up being a fielder's choice. Lemon reaches first, and it's now a 6-5 ball game, Detroit. Maybe we should have thrown to first, but I thought we might as well try to get that run out of the plate. And it's been one of these kinds of games, hasn't it? This is the way it's been really all replay long. That brings up Lou Boudreau, runners on first and third. And we should be having the infield in the corners. We're going to do that now. 0-2 now the count on Boudreau, and he hits one over the gap in left center field, and that scores the tying run, and that brings up Larry Doby. And I've been talking about Lemon needs to come out of there. We need to be thinking about Trucks. Do we want to stick with him? What's the plan? I don't know if there's much of a plan really going on here. The reason why I say that is because it's not like the Tigers have some sort of secret, like wonderful bullpen somewhere. This Detroit Tigers bullpen is not exactly the best in the world. I mean, we have a whole bunch of guys who have ERAs up in the stratosphere. We could put them in. I think we're going to stick with Trucks for just a little while longer. 6-6 ball game. There's one inside to Larry Doby, and then a strike. 1-1 now the count on Doby. And that one's drilled to center field, and Groth goes over and makes the catch, but that does score Bob Lemon with the go-ahead run. 7-6 now is the ball game, and this has been one of those back-and-forth ones. And, I mean, who knows what's going to happen from here on out. So Larry Doby, who is 0 for 2, winds up getting the RBI and a sacrifice fly. There are 2 outs now with a runner on first base here for Hal Peck. 7-6 Indians. This has been a real one of those doozies. There's a little ground ball over to Lipon at short. He boots it a little bit, then flips over finally to Berry for the out at second base. The force out. We go to the bottom of the 6th. And here's George Kell. Kell, with the 1-0 count, lines that one over to Gordon at second base for the first out. And here comes Johnny Groth. Takes one low, 1-0 the count. And there's a slider up and in. 2-0. And that's in the dirt 3-0. Bob Lemon about to walk another one, and he does. That's walk number 8 of the game, and they're going to keep Lemon in there. Vic Wirtz up there. We're going to play hit and run now. And Wirtz ends up fouling that first pitch. Now we're going to take it off. And swung on a miss. Now it's 0-2 is the count on Wirtz. And he fouls another one off. Still 0-2. That's fouled back again. 0-2 still. There's one low, 1-2. And that's outside. 2-2 now the count on Wirtz. And that's off the outside corner. So full count. Lemon's still struggling with his control. Wirtz gets a base hit over to the right side, and we are not going to send Johnny Groth. Again, as I said before, not with Hoot Evers coming up there since he's a good power hitter. And what does the computer decide to do? The computer manager decides to put Mike Garcia, of all people, in there. Mike Garcia, who was a starting pitcher, he started 20 games in real life in 1949 and had 21 relief appearances. I suppose it could go either way. I'd rather see them put someone like Satchel Paige in there, honestly. And of course, this thing's not going to let me look at his full statistics, but I would much rather see him go on here. See, this is kind of a silly screen because you can't look and see, how many starts and how many relief appearances he had, which is pretty ridiculous if you ask me. But whatever, we'll deal with Garcia coming in. I just think it's kind of a silly idea to put him in there. Let's see here. All right, we are ready here to continue our action. And so we're going to have Hoot Evers come up here now, runners on first and second, only one out. Garcia with the 3.78 ERA. That's probably the reason why he's been pitching well. Evers fouls one off, and then there's a ball to him. 1-1 now the count. That's inside. 2-1 now. And there's one foul straight back. 2-2 is the count. And there's called strike 3 for Evers, and that's frustrating. Aaron Robinson now had that home run, fouls one back, 0-1 on him. Then it's 1-1. They're still trying to catch Groth, but he's not going anywhere. Now the count to Robinson's 1-2. And there's a liner past Gordon at second base, and that scores 1. And we're going to hold Wirtz. We're still playing a little bit safe here. And Robinson today is 2 for 2, 2 walks, 4 runs batted in, and the 1 home run. And it's a 7-7 ball game. All right, let's see here. So we're at the bottom of the 6th inning. And so with that hit, that brings up with runners on first and second now Paul Campbell, who's 2 for 3 so far today. And he pops one up over to a center field, and that one drops in front of Larry Doby. It's kind of an unusual play. We're actually going to play it safe with this because I think that was hit pretty shallow. And that is not the sort of play that you expect to see from Vic Wirtz, who usually is a really good outfielder. And that will bring up Johnny Lipon now with the bases loaded. And with a real chance here, and I've been saying this over and over again, but with a real chance to really knock this game open and to make something happen. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7-7 game, bases loaded, 2 outs. Johnny Lipon up there, 0 for 1 today, who's walked a whole bunch of times. There's one hit deep to right field, and that's almost a grand slam. Ends up just being allowed out, and we'll go to the top of the 7th inning, and you know that this one's going to come to the end. I feel like you have this feeling with some of these games that it's going to be really tense and really close down to the end because of what you've been seeing happen. So, all right, we have that set up right. And now we've got Dale Mitchell to worry about here, top of the 7th inning. We do still have Virgil Trucks in there, but he's coming out as soon as something bad happens. 2-0 the count on Mitchell. There's one hit over to Groth in center field for an out. 1 out here. And Joe Gordon hits a deep one to Groth as well for the second now, just like that. Here's Mickey Vernon. Looks at a strike after taking a ball. 1-1 the count. Now it's 1-2. There's a drive to right field to Wirtz, and that's it. And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Trucks comes up second this inning, and we'll pinch hit for him when he does. Here's Neil Berry with a 1-1 count on him. And there's a foul ball. 1-2 now is the count. And that's swung on and caught as a foul tip for the out. That's a strikeout against Berry, and we go to the bench. Let's see who we've got. So we've got the right-hander on the mound. We'll play the funny lefty-righty game here. Might as well. And I think Pat Mullen is who we're going to bring in as the pinch hitter. And he holds up in time for that one. 1-0 the count on him. Now it's a 2-0 count. And that's fouled back now to play 2-1 now the count on Mullen. That one's low. 3-1 the count. We're going to have him take here, and he does take, and that's ball 4. That brings up George Kell now with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the reason why we're slowing down a little bit here is because everything from this this point in time on out is going to be important. Because the game is really up for grabs right now. It's a 7-7 ball game, and you never know what's going to happen. So here comes Kel. Of course, Dynamite Baseball, if you pass it, if you miss it, you can't go back and get it again. Kel takes a ball and then a strike, 1-1 the count. And 2-1 as Garcia misses, and there's a foul ball, 2-2. And there's one lofted over to left field, over to Mitchell, makes the catch, 2 away, and here's Johnny Groth. And there's a hanging curveball that's just popped up and back, and then takes the ball, 1-1 now the count, and 2-1 as that pitch misses. And there's a little ground ball over to Boudreau. He drops it, then flips it, picks it up again, flips it over to Gordon for the out, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. Still 7-7 ball game, and I think we're going to put this guy in here, right? Yeah, we're going to put this guy in. Lou Kretlow, who ignores ERA for a second, pitched 1.1 innings and gave up 3 hits. ERA of 20.25, but that's because of the sample size. 1-1 now the count on Jim Hegan, 1-2 now. And there's a fly ball over to Wertz in right field, 1 away, and that ERA drops by 4 down to 16.20. Here's Bob Kennedy, takes a strike and a ball, 1-1 the count on him. There's one low, 2-1 is the count. Fastball misses, 3-1 now, and there's a ball wide, and that's a base on balls. Another walk given up by Kretlow, second walk given up this season. That brings up Mike Garcia, who's staying in there, bunts to the mound, and that puts Kennedy over to second base. 2 outs, though, and here's Boudreau, takes a strike. There's a little roller over to Barry, and he makes the play, throws over to first for the out. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and here comes Vic Wertz with, of course, the chance to knock one out of here. Wertz is 11 for 22 against Cleveland, so he's had their number. And there's a little comebacker to Garcia, throws to first for the out, 1 away. Here's Hootie Evers, and he fouls one back and out of play. And there's a ball to him, 1-1 the count now. And there's a foul ball, 1-2. And there's another foul ball, still 1-2. And there's one hit straight to center field on a line that bounces right in front of Larry Doby, hit number 10 for the Tigers. And here comes Aaron Robinson. We will have him swing away the way he's been getting these base hits. 0-1 the count on Robinson, 0-2 now. And there's a little ground ball over to Gordon, who takes it himself, throws to first base, but not able to complete the double play. And that means there's 2 outs here with Paul Campbell up there. There's a long pop-up, and Hegan just not able to get it. 0-1 the count now on Campbell. And there's a strike, 0-2. And there's a ground ball to Boudreau. He bobbles the ball, unable to make a play. It's the first error of the ball game, kind of surprising because of the poor defense we've had so far in this one. And there are runners on first and second now with 2 outs here, bottom of the 8th inning. Here comes Johnny Lipon. He takes a strike, 0-1 the count on him, and there's one popped up, and Hegan is able to get that one, and we go to the top of the 9th. Here comes Larry Doby. This is the dangerous part of Cleveland's batting order. 1-0 the count on him, and 2-0 now. And there's a little ground ball over to the pitcher, Kretlow, who gets it over on the left side of the mound, throws over to first base for the out, 1 away, and here's Hal Peck. And swing and a miss, 0-1 now the count on him, and there's a strike called, 0-2. That one's low, and Peck chases it and strikes out, and there's the second out, and here's Dale Mitchell. I told you Kretlow would be fine. And there's a 1-1 count now here on Mitchell, and there's a strike to him, 1-2. There's a ground ball over to Barry, and he grabs it and flips over to first for the out. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, and here comes Neil Barry. Fouls one off, 0-1 now the count on Barry, and he chases that one, 0-2. And there's a little ground ball over in front of the plate, and Hegan grabs it, throws to first for the out, 1 away. It's pinch hitter time. All right, let's see what we can do against righties. See, and you have all these sort of weird things happening. These 2 guys who are pinch hitters hit absolutely nothing. And you wonder, well, maybe we do use one of them. Might as well. You have Lund or you have Rapp. Maybe we go for Rapp here against the right-handed pitcher and sort of see what happens. Rapp had 1 at-bat in real life. I don't know if he's in at the right time of the season. This is a whole nother complicated thing. There's a swing and a fly ball over to Doby to center field for the out. He makes the play, 2 away here. George Kell now takes the ball and lines one over again to Doby in center field for the out. We go to extra innings, and who are we going to put in? I think we are going to put in Dizzy Trout. Dizzy Trout will be the relief pitcher here for Detroit. Dizzy Trout, who was 34 years old. Best years are definitely behind him. And Joel Gordon comes up there now, takes a strike, 0-1 the count on Gordon. and swings and misses that one 0-2, and that's just below the knees. 1-2 now the count. Sinker low 2-2. And there's one over to Evers in left field. He goes into the gap and grabs it, one away. And here's Mickey Vernon. There's a strike on Vernon and a ball, 1-1 the count. And that's a sinker in the dirt, 2-1. That one's too high, 3-1. And there's a ground ball over to Kell at third base, and he makes the play after bobbling it, 2 away. And here comes Jim Hegan. And there's a little hard hit over to Barry at second base, who can't get a hold of that one. That's a base hit, and that brings up Bob Kennedy now with runner on first base, 2 outs. And he decides to hit one over to Lipon at short, makes the play over to Barry at second for the force out. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Johnny Groth up there now. And Groth takes a ball outside, 1-0 the count, and there's one lifted up in the air into the seats, 1-1. And another foul ball, 1-2 now the count on him. And there's a ball, 2-2. Steve Gromick out there, who has a full count now. Steve Gromick pitching for Cleveland as the count remains full. No earned runs given up so far this year. No record, no nothing. And he gives up a walk. That's the first walk he's given up this season. He does have a strikeout. He's pitched 1.2 innings now. He's also given up a base hit. That's it. Of course, he gives up this walk in a pretty crucial part of the game. Vic Wirtz comes up now here at the very, with nobody out here in the bottom of the 10th inning, and something could happen here. And I'm starting to think, as I take a look at what we can do, I'm thinking maybe we do put a play on. We've tried doing that before with Groth, and it didn't quite work with Wirtz up there, but maybe we can catch Detroit a little bit off guard. So we're going to hit and run here, see what happens. And there is a little ground ball over to Gordon, and he picks it up, throws over to first base for the out, and that means that Hoot Evers is up there now with a runner in scoring position. Only one out here, bottom of the 10th inning, 7-7 ball game, and this has been clutch, hasn't it? This has been exciting. So the hit and run does work, sort of, although Wirtz unable to find a hole anywhere. He ends up 2 for 5 in this game. Evers, who's 2 for 3, is walked intentionally, and that'll bring up Robinson. You're going to walk him intentionally to come to Robinson. Robinson has 4 runs batted in this game and had that big home run earlier in this affair, and has been playing very, very well. I mean, that's an interesting idea. I'm not sure if I would have done the same thing myself. One out here, runners on first and second, and here comes Robinson, and let's see what Aaron can do. Robinson hitting in the 5-hole, takes inside and high, 1-0, then takes one around the ankles, 2-0. There's a foul ball, 2-1 now the count on him. And there's one that's shot over to right field. Peck is right there, makes the play. We're going to have Groth try for third base. And the throw is poor, and that scores the run, and that is the ball game. And so on kind of a fluke play, an awful throw by the right fielder, Hal Peck, the Tigers are able to score the final run in this ball game. They win this one 8-7. Really, really a wild game, back and forth, up and down, and was a lot of fun to play through. But that's kind of not exactly the way that you want to see this one end. And it's kind of sad to see Hal Peck wind up with the big error that ends up costing the Indians the game and the chance that share of first place. They're going to wind up in second place, I believe, tied with the Red Sox. Hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll have another game for you tomorrow, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.